All right, then. A warm welcome and namaste to all of our valued partners, system integrators, telematic experts, and industry leaders, and of course, everyone else who has taken the time out of the busy schedule to join in us today for the webinar. Today, we are going to focus on one of the most inevitable and high impact aspects of our fleet operations, and that is the fuel monitoring. Yes, the liquid gold of our industry. Fuel is not just an operational expense, but it directly relates with sustainability, profitability, compliance, and efficiency. And that's exactly what we are going to be exploring in depth today. The agenda for today's webinar is Maxim, to the next slide. Yeah. How Omnicom and Uffizio create seamless synergy between hardware and software. Real world use cases showing measurable fuel savings, best practices for accurate monitoring and analytics. And at the end, we have our live Q&A session where the team of experts from Uffizio and Omnicom will be addressing all of your questions and queries. So, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop in all of the questions in the chat during the time of webinar. Moving forward, let me quickly introduce myself. Hello, I am Nirali Surti, a part of customer success at Uffizio, and I work closely with global partners and clients driving fleet optimization, product adoption, and operational success across markets. Over to you, Maxim. Would you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Thank you, Nurali. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maxim Barzov. I'm head of pre-sales at Omnicom. Today, together with Uffizio, we will demonstrate how combining precision hardware with intelligent software creates a truly integrated fuel monitoring ecosystem. Our focus will be on measurable savings, fraud prevention, and best practices for achieving full fuel transparency. Together with Nurali, we will show how accurate data transforms into accountable insights.
Thank you, Maxim, for such a warm introduction. Moving forward, let me introduce Uffizio and how we connect to the ecosystem. At Uffizio, we focus on powering connected mobility. We serve 95 plus countries, 1.2 million connected assets, 600 plus business clients, 2,000 plus device integrations, 40 plus industry serves, and 9 plus products. What makes Uffizio different from others is firstly, we are customizable your needs and our solutions. Secondly, we are scalable. That is, whether you have 500 fleets to 50,000 and above, we manage them all. And third, but not the least, or the last, that is, we are device agnostics. We integrate with multiple hardware providers. Now, out of these 10 plus products, our flagship product is Traxi, which has the advanced fleet monitoring system. The next slide, please, Maxine. Yeah. So we have multiple modules for fuel in our software. Beginning with the dashboard. In the dashboard, we have the fuel, we have different widgets for the fuel. As you can see, we have the fleet idle widget, the fuel drain and refill widget, fuel versus distance widget. Now, in this widget, all of the fuel data has been shown. This is like an overview for all of the management or the control centers to view everything at a glance. In the fleet idle widget, you have how much fuel was consumed during the time of idling. The fill drain report widget shows you how much fuel was filled and refrained during the time of work. The next module that we have, the live tracking screen. On the live tracking screen, next slide please. Yeah. On the live tracking screen, we have all of the vehicles listed here. Along with that, the sensors that are integrated to it. Once you select the vehicles, a widget appears, which is the fuel widget on your right corner, where all of the fuel data is visible along with its consumption, refill, drain, alerts, and much more. As you know, Traxi just does not support one fuel sensor, but it supports multiple fuel sensors. So even all of the sensor data are consolidated and shown on the widget. The next module that we have is the reports. We have multiple reports on our platform. Talking of numbers, there are 20 plus reports. So you can imagine how accurate data we must be providing. One of the reports shown here is the fuel dashboard report, where all of the listed vehicles are shown how much fuel has been utilized by them. which becomes a quicker glance for all of the control centers and managers to make quicker decisions. And last but not the least, we have the charts where we have the graphical representation of all of the fuel data that are needed. So this was all about our software. Now there's a poll coming up where I would like your feedback. It will be open for let's say around 20 to 30 seconds. Please put in your feedback in there. I think this was enough time for all of my viewers to put in their feedback. Over to you, Maxim. Would you please introduce Omnicom to our participants?
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Now, let me tell you a bit about Omnicom. We are a dedicated solution provider with 27 years of experience on the market, founded back in 1998. Over those nearly 27 years, we've engineered our solutions to meet the rigorous demand of more than 30 different industries across more than 100 countries. More than 1.5 million vehicles are equipped with our products. This background and long history is the foundation of our reliability and expertise. And as you can see, the range of industries we serve is incredibly diverse. From construction and logistics to agriculture, mining, and even railways and maritime. Why? Because no matter the industry, fuel is a critical asset everywhere. Whether it's a bulldozer on a construction site, a logging truck in the forest, or a generator for a telecom tower, the need to monitor and control fuel consumption is universal. Every object with a fuel tank can be equipped with our fuel level sensor.
Definitely, Maxim. Thank you. That was really insightful. Now just imagine Omnicom's highly accurate fuel level sensor combining with Uffizio's visualization and analytics. So it's not just fuel monitoring, but it's complete fuel intelligence. Yes, as fuel remains the largest controllable operating expense, regardless of industry or geography. Yes, the 30 to 45% of total fleet cost is for fuel, and even a 2 to 3% deviation scales to major annual losses. Therefore, fuel just not need to be monitored, but it must be controlled intelligently. So, our next slide, Maxim would be telling us about their Maxim would be telling us about their sensors and how they could be useful.
Yep. Let's look at the source of the measurement precision, our fuel level sensors, Omnicom LLS. We have three active generations available, each designed for specific needs. Our fourth generation sensors, the LLS4 and LLS-AF4, are durable and field-proven workhorses built for consistent, long-term reliability in the most demanding environments. Our fifth generation, the LLS5 and LLS-EX5, introduce our adaptive fuel scan technology for smart fuel data analysis, even when the chemical composition of the fuel changes. And they are designed for seamless integration even in explosive environments in oil and gas objects. And finally, our latest innovation, the sixth generation LLS6AI. This sensor incorporates built-in artificial intelligence, giving it the industry's lowest thresholds for detecting fuel fills and drains with incredible accuracy. This timeline illustrates our commitment to continuous innovation. We didn't just create one sensor and stop. We've iterated and improved through multiple generations, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the fuel monitoring technology to deliver better and better results for our customers. With each generation, not the declared, but the actual measurement accuracy improved, device reliability increased, and detection thresholds for refueling and draining events in the software became lower. In addition, important technology advancements emerged from early copper sensor with exposed wiring. The LLS progressed to solid metal housing, automatic self-adjustment, self-cleaning design, and artificial intelligence. A key part of this innovation is our proprietary fuel scan technology, applied in our professional sensors. It's like having two probes in one sensor. One probe, or reference probe, constantly checks the composition of the fuel. Important because fuel isn't always the same. The second, main probe, uses that information to calculate the exact volume in the tank. This patented technology ensures our accuracy is always better than 99.5%, and crucially, it is not dependent on the fuel composition like in other capacitive sensors. Over the years, we accumulated a vast amount of operational data from hundreds of thousands of assets. At some point, we realized this dataset could be used to significantly improve fuel measurement accuracy. We analyzed existing approaches and developed a neural network that can distinguish normal fuel fluctuations from real volume changes. The next step was embedding this neural network directly into the sensor. As a result, the sensor now filters out dynamic fluctuations in real time and transmits only actual fuel level changes to the GPS tracker. The output is smooth, stable, and highly accurate fuel data without the need for external filtering. In practical terms, this significantly improves event detection sensitivity. With conventional sensors, the recommended refueling draining detection threshold is typically 5 to 7% on the software side. With LLS5, this can be reduced approximately to 3 to 5%. With LLS6 AI, the threshold can be lowered to 1, maximum 2%. This means smaller fuel events can be detected reliably without false alarms. Sometimes it is not possible to install the LLS exactly in the center of the tank, even though that is our recommended position. In conventional system, off-center installation often leads to measurement inaccuracies. With LLS6 AI, this challenge is addressed differently. During the first hours of operation, the built-in neural network analyzes the sensor-specific working environment. It learns how fuel behaves inside the particular tank, understands the nature of fluctuations, and determines its position relative to the tank's geometric center. It can even compensate for tank tilt. As a result, the system maintains high measurement accuracy, even in non-ideal installation conditions. Few words about construction, design of LLS5 and LLS6 AI. So the construction is, the sensor is made of metal, and we have special design like double gun with longitudinal slots. And these slots provide us the unique feature. This is self-cleaning feature. So the fuel fluctuations washing out all contaminants or buildups out of the sensor during movement. So this unique construction helped us to minimize the possibility of downtimes for maintenance. Now let's address an increasingly important topic, biofuels. Quick question for audience. How often do you work with biodiesel, and have you experienced measurement instability because of it? Please share your thoughts in the chat. You also may share your questions there. We will answer it a bit later. It's interesting to know your opinion. The core challenge with biodiesel, it is variable dielectric constant. In conventional capacitive sensor, fluctuations in dielectric properties, especially when fuel blends change, can directly affect measurement accuracy. LLS5 and particularly LLS6AI are designed to handle this. Our sensors already operate reliably with a wide range of biodiesel blends available on the market, maintaining stable and accurate readings despite changes in fuel composition. And here is a small preview. In the near future, we will introduce a specialized LLS6 version capable of working with biofuels whose dielectric constant exceeds 5, a range traditionally problematic for capacitive technology. This will ensure stable and accurate fuel measurement regardless of fuel type or blend. The result, consistent data integrity even in complex biofuel environments. Setting up our sensors is straightforward, but regular calibration takes 2-3 hours, which sometimes becomes a crucial delay for the fleet owner because any downtime costs a lot. Using Calibratix from Omnicomm, you need to just install the sensor in the tank and connect it to the tracker. The next step with calibration can be done remotely. You just get fueling information from one or several refueling events, enter that data into our service on site, and we provide you with a precise calibration table. It's that easy to achieve pinpoint accuracy. Now that we understand the technology behind the data, let's hand it over to Nurali, who will show you the incredibly result our clients achieve when that data is put to work in the real world. Nurali, over to you.
Thank you, Maxim. That was really insightful. But before that, we have a poll here, right?
Yeah.
So, all of our viewers, please put your feedback on the poll again. What's your experience and what has been the biggest impact on reliable fuel sensor data? We'll keep the poll open for like 20 seconds. Your feedback would really be helpful to us. Should we move forward now? I hope everyone has given their valuable feedback. All right, Maxim. That was really insightful about your fuel sensors. Now let's go on to the real world use cases showing the measurable fuel savings. The first industry we will talk about is the transportation and logistic industries. You know, this industry does not deal with small vehicles, but we have big and large vehicles to deal with. Imagine the challenges that they face: inefficient routes, cost control chaos, fuel thefts, and unexpected delays. Now, how does all these things happen? Imagine the driver, instead of taking a shortest route, goes for a longer route. That would create a lot of fuel consumption, or you could say overconsumption. And because of taking those longer routes, you have cost control chaos, as the vehicle would need more of maintenance costs, the tire costs, and much more. This would ultimately result in the delays of their deliveries. And of course, there could be some happenings or mishaps like fuel thefts, because these days fuel does not just disappear in bulk, it disappears in patterns. So that's where the fuel sensors and our software data would be helping. We have charts that would be providing the fuel refill, train events happening, and along with that, alerts are provided to the users so that whenever there is a mishap or a theft happening, they are alerted at then and there moment. They don't need to wait for the job to get completed and get all of the data and get all of these datas. Then we have different reports where all of these datas according attached with these sensors would be presented. This would definitely help in 10% fuel cost savings. The next slide, please. Then we have the construction industries. Again, these are all big industries and they deal with JCPs, caterpillars, such vehicles. In there could definitely be inaccurate budgeting and forecasting. How? Because their tank shapes are irregular. Sometimes the project managers are not aware of how much fuel could be utilized or be wanted. For that, there could be again delays there, as again refilling would take time, and idle ignorance. That is during the time of break, maybe the engine is still on and the fuel is getting consumed over and over. So this would again put into project delays. How this could be prevented is our fuel data would pinpoint the cost for realistic budgeting by showing us exactly when should be the fuel refilled, how much has been drained, and how much has been consumed. Then we have fuel sensors and unlock efficiency gains to the right sizing and equipment and optimizing the routes. The fuel theft is again a big problem at the construction site. So, because of these fuel sensors, we can help detect the theft by providing the real time data on the fuel levels. Fuel data shows realistic budget, and this would prevent the lost overruns. That would ultimately result in 18% of decrease in the operational costs. So let's move on to the next slide and know how the best practices for accurate fuel monitoring and analytics. Firstly, you need to integrate it and not isolate. Just not rely on the manual logs or manual data. You need to integrate these fuel sensors and get the exact accurate fuel data that is required. You need to analyze what drives cost. Because of the data that will be provided to you, you would exactly know where is the most pricing done on your, or where is the most cost being utilized. This would even help you in optimizing the operational continuously and establish a control over accountability. The next slide, please. The last and not the least, how to identify and prevent fuel fraud in the real time. You need not, firstly, the physical prevention. Every time a person being present during the time of refill or drain is not practically possible. So, our data and the fuel sensors integrated to it would be helping us to know the fuel drain report, the refill, and consumption. That would help you in control fuel excess. The control of your fuel excess would be with you. And there is even live monitoring and alerts. So any mishap happenings or any fuel theft robbery happening, you would be alerted at that time only, so that all of the measures could be done to prevent those losses. And then you have the driver's accountability as well. That is, you would know who the driver is, where the driver is because of the live tracking, and at what time or date all of these events have been done. So here we come to an end of our webinar. I hope this was quite insightful. But before we end it completely, we have a Q&A session right now. So anyone who has any doubts or queries, please feel free to ask them. Our team would be addressing you.
Yes, colleagues, thank you for your attention. So please feel free to ask questions in our chat. So here I'm looking through it. Which GPS tracking devices are compatible for accurate fuel monitoring with Omnicomm sensors and Uffizio software? So as I mentioned, Uffizio is agnostic to devices, and from Omnicomm side, we also may be integrated with any type of devices with a digital interface using LLS protocol or Modbus protocol. In some cases, GPS trackers that do not support digital protocol can be, we can join LLS sensor with GPS tracker through analog interface, through voltage or frequency signals. So the majority of all popular models can be used in this solution. We will additionally send all requested materials for all participants, so no worries. So you will receive all necessary information. Can we use multiple sensors in one vehicle? Yes, sure. Technically, it is possible to connect several sensors to the same GPS tracker using RS485 interface. Usually, we are talking about the number of sensors from 1 to 6, so it may be different. So for trucks with 2 tanks, 2 sensors, this is the normal story. For some oil and gas solutions with fuel delivery trucks with many compartments, we can provide solution for 5 or even 6 sensors connected to the same GPS tracker. How can we make fuel sensors installation and configuration more reliable? So Omnicomm has the guide for installers with the description of all necessary steps and for following the safety recommendations, of course. So we have these manuals or guidelines for every sensor model, and following this procedure, so installation will be absolutely safe and correct. Next question, are fluctuations considered as drain, or is there any option to mark false drain? So when we are talking about LLS6 sensor, so the possibility of appearing the false drain or false refueling event reduces significantly. So this is to say this was the main advantage. This is the main advantage of this technology, this sensor. So we can detect even very small operations, small refueling or small draining, not mixing it or not mixing it with the fluctuations, because these sensors know how to distinguish fluctuations from real operation. When we're talking about previous models, so such kind of analysis usually done on the side of the software where we can configure some parameters, doing some fine tunings, including refueling and draining thresholds. So it depends on the model we use. Did the accuracy check is in the real-time environment? Because if it is tested in lab, then only it can give 99.5% accuracy, but the real world environment, it comes up to 95, 97%. Okay, good question. So 99.5%, this is the fuel level measurement for the stationary fuel. So when we have to work with fluctuations during movement. Again, we return back to previous question. So we can, how to say, separate it using thresholds, using some tricky parameters in the software, so we can minimize this inaccuracy from the software side. Or again, if we use LLS6 AI, it will provide very accurate measurement right from the sensor. What percentage of fuel sensor accuracy in the scale of 1 to 100? So again, getting back to that question, for stationary measurement, 99.5% or even more. For moving objects, it can be calculated with, how to say, with understanding which thresholds were set up on the software side. Again, getting back to LLS6, this will be the minimal inaccuracy. Are the sensor ultrasound, or they need to be drilled in the tank? No, ultrasound, this is another technology. This is not so accurate. We are talking about capacitive sensors, and we need to install the sensor, capacitive sensor, I mean, we need to drill the tank. So this is the specific of this technology, and it gives significant advantages comparing to ultrasonics devices, which much more stable, much more accurate, and we can have a separate meeting considering these two technologies. How do we deal with fake fuel fills and fake drains or rough terrains? The data is very fluctuating. Let me give some more details about LLS6, about artificial intelligence. When we configure this sensor, we can apply one of profiles for configuring this device. We have a profile for, let's say, for logistics industry, where we have when we're driving on the flat roads without serious fluctuations, this is one story. Another scenario could be some off-road conditions. Next profile would be applicable for mining and construction, where we have very serious fluctuating. And sensors know how to react on these fluctuations and how to distinguish it from real fills and real drains. So this is the specific of AI inside LLS6. What makes Omnicomm LLS sensors unique compared to other brands? Very good question. So if we look at the landscape of capacitive sensors presented on the market, so we have several technologies which were patented and already used for several years, like fuel scan technology that can gives us possibility to adjust measurement no matter which chemical composition of fuel we have on the next gas station. We even may change diesel to petrol fuel inside the tank, like in dosers, and the sensor will adjust automatically, so you do not need to recalibrate it. So we avoid huge costs for maintenance, for downtime. So this is the technology which gives us possibility to adjust automatically. Another important thing is that we, in the 6th generation, we use artificial intelligence, which we already talked about. We have special construction of the sensor with self-washing design, so it also minimizes the necessity of maintaining the sensor, and also we have 8 years warranty for our equipment. If you order it now, you will get the warranty according to lifetime of the device. So now we state it as 8 years, but sensors work even more. So this is absolutely robust, and it uses the technology which other vendors do not use. And we may say that we are approximately 8 years ahead on the market comparing to other technologies. So this is the list of advantages. Can we have configurations on how to add multiple Omnicomm sensors on TrackZ platform? I think we need to discuss it in the emails. So for sure we will provide you the solution which is needed. Have you done some fuel sensor demo with Uffizio software? What are the parameters and report accuracy? So it is better to discuss together with technical team of Uffizio. I think we can also provide some interesting information regarding this question. Can it be used in gensets? Yes, of course. Any object with fuel tank can be equipped with fuel level sensor from Omnicomm. Gensets, this is a very popular solution where we can equip own fuel tank of the genset and standing nearby bulk tank or day tank. So we give the whole solution for this for gensets. What about sensor tampering? Do we get alerted? No, we do not get the alert. We use the casing seal for LLS5 head and LLS6 head, and we used the plastic seal for the connector. All the seals have the unique ID numbers, and you will definitely see if anybody tried to get the sensor or disconnect it. So you will see that this seal was damaged or broken. So this is how we detect that tampering happened. Regarding ultrasonic sensor, we already had this question and answered it. Do you have a recommendation for sensors that can work with stationary tanks that are about 10,000 liters capacity? Yes, for big tanks, which volume exceeds even 1000 liter, we recommend using LLS EX5 model, which has ATEX certificate, and it has the special spark protection unit BSMX, which is placed in the safe zone. So let's say we have the fuel delivery truck, and we have sensors LLS EX5 installed in the compartments of this truck. This is the hazardous zone according to ATEX classification. And we connect it with spark protection unit in the safe zone. It could be a driver's cabin, for instance. And this technology guarantees that sensor will work at minimal voltage. The powering and signal will be after galvanic isolation. We have insulation breakdown protection against 5,000 volts, as far as I remember. So it has very serious protection, and we have a certificate that proves this technology.
Dear all, we will be ending the Q&A session soon. So, Maxim, maybe if we can go with short answers through the next questions, because we have many. And then, of course, we will address all of them personally through the email. And my colleague Arun will share the emails for you for technical support and commercial.
Yeah, we have a huge list of questions. I'm sorry we have no time to answer all of them right now, but we will answer it definitely in the written form. Maybe I will take one or two more.
So before we end the Q&A session, Maxim, would you like to address any one of the questions? Let's say the last one.
The last one I just list through the comments. I'm listing, yeah. I understand that the LS6 AI sensor is capable of detecting fake fuel drains. My question is now, do we accurately detect them at software and especially when the client has installed a different sensor? Yes, I know that Uffizio has a very strong algorithm for detecting false draining and refueling events. But it's better to ask colleagues from Uffizio, I mean technical team. I'm sure they will provide the detailed answer.
We do have the refill and drain events on our chat, but for more information, you can connect to us at Uffizio at sales.uffizio.com. So should we end the Q&A session here, Maxim?
Yes, we still have many questions, so unfortunately we cannot answer all of them now.
Yeah,
So yes, let's stop for the moment and proceed offline.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
colleagues, thank you so much for your interest.
Thanks
I
so
see
much.
the interest is huge and this is great. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being a part of our webinar. And if you have more questions and queries for the software part, please connect to us at sales@uffizio.com. And for the hardware, Maxim, could you tell us where should the viewers connect you?
Yeah, for sales, it is sales at Omnicomm Ltd. And for technical questions, you may send it to support@Omnicomm Ltd. or to me directly, maxim.borzov@omnicom.ltd. So all emails will be checked and we will respond to your request. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So thank you all. Here we are at the end of our webinar. I hope this was quite insightful and gave you knowledge about the fuel sensors and our software. Thank you all.
Thank you, colleagues. Bye.
Bye bye.